today we're going to learn about some factoring that requires a little memorization of patterns. First of all, take a look at all three of these questions that are sitting in front of you right now. You'll notice they only have two terms. One term, two terms. All right. They also all have minus signs in between. So if you see, there's one more thing you need to notice. These are perfect squares. Y times y is y squared, and 4 times 4 is 16. If you notice these three terms, or these three conditions, there's two terms. The front and the back term are both perfect squares, then and a difference. We can use the difference of two squares pattern, which means take the square root of y squared, get a y. Take the square root of 16, you get a 4. So my answer I memorize is that we do y plus 4, y minus 4. Every time we get this type of pattern for this, your answer will turn out with the square roots with a plus and a minus. Square root of 25m squared is 5m. Square root of 36 is 6. So I'm going to get 5m minus 6 and 5m plus 6. It's called the difference of two squares. X squared minus 49y squared, same thing. We take square root of x squared x, square root of negative 49y squared is 7y. So we get x plus 7y, x minus 7y, because it's the difference of two squares. All right. Take a look at this question. Uh-oh, it has the minus sign, but these are not perfect squares. One thing I do notice is that they both are even numbers. If they're both even numbers, then I can divide them both by a 2. So if I pull out a 2, the greatest common factor, I always check for that first. I pull out a 2. We did these a while ago. So 2 times 4 gets me 8. 2 times negative 9 gets me negative 18. And of course the n squared. So now I've factored out the greatest common factor. My next check to see, oh, wait, this is a difference of two perfect squares. So square root of 4 is 2. Square root of negative 9 is 3. So I go ahead and do, here we go. 2 times 2 plus 3n, 2 minus 3n. There's your 2, there's your 3n, that's where I'm getting these. All right. Try this one on your own. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Square root of that is 2y, square root of that is 8. So we have 2y minus 8, 2y plus 8. All right. If I can get this to go to the right slide. All right, factor the polynomial. So we have to come up with its factors again. What you'll notice here is we have a perfect square, but this has 3 terms. If it has 3 terms, you can follow this pattern. We take the square root of that, n, take the square root of that is 6. It has a minus sign right here, then it must be a minus sign there. And the answer is n minus 6, quantity squared. Now, to make sure that this is okay to use this memorized pattern, make sure you double check this. Negative 6 times n is negative 6n. Double it. Does it turn out to be this middle term? Then you've done it correctly. If for any reason it does not turn out to be this middle term, you cannot use this method. We'll learn about that in Chapter 10. All right, perfect square. At the end we find a perfect square. It has 3 terms, so I can use the square root of that, 3x, square root of that, 2, has a minus sign there, so I put a minus sign, quantity squared. Take a look at the bottom. We notice in this one, perfect square, so we go ahead and do square root of that, 2f, square root of that is t, and of course, we have a plus sign here, so we should have a plus sign in our answer, quantity squared. Now the other thing is, let's make sure, we have 2st, double it, it's 4st, then we've done it correctly. Because this is the actual pattern that they show you with alphabet soup is what I call it. But that's the pattern we're using. All right. Okay, there, my computer's cooperating now. Take a look at this. 3 numbers, first term, last term, neither one of those are perfect squares. First thing you always check for is, can you factor out any common number? 3, 36, and 108. If you didn't know it, these are all divisible by 3. And the first term should be positive, and it has a negative. So we're going to pull out a negative 3. When you factor out your negative 3 times y squared gets you that. Negative 3 times negative 12 gets you the 36. And negative 3 times 36 gets you negative 108. So we've done our factoring. This is old news. We've done this last chapter. Now, look at this trinomial. Perfect square, perfect square. Okay. Then we take the negative 3, we pull it down. Square root of y squared is y. Square root of 36 is 6. It has a minus sign, so we bring our minus sign. Quantity squared. Double check to make sure you're allowed to use this. Negative 6y, double it, negative 12y. It's my middle term, so I'm allowed to use this type of factoring. All right. I would like you guys to try these 3 questions on your own. Pause your video. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. You should have been able to get h plus 2 quantity squared. Pull out a 2. Factor out, the greatest common factor was 2. Then you would get y minus 5 quantity squared. All of these have a 3 in common, so they factor out a 3, and then you get x plus y quantity squared. If you don't know how to do any of these 3, please let me know in class tomorrow. You guys have a great night. See you in the morning.